Coach, you want to open us up with a statement, kind of just giving
Yeah, first of all, I want to welcome you all to the building. As you can see, it's a little bit different than the last one. I think it has some really great aspects of this building that we didn't have before. And then I think there were some things in the other facility that we don't have here. But it's going to be a facility that we can run a good track meet in. I'll wait for your questions, I guess, before I say much more than that. I think that the general public, this will be a more conducive venue, but just because you're able to sit all the way around the competition. I think it makes it a little bit more intimate than our last facility. We had one-sided bleachers at the last one, and it was great. I mean, it was loud. It couldn't have got much louder in that facility. But I think that this will be one that people will enjoy as well, and maybe a little bit more. We'll see. Unless everybody tries to crowd into one little area over there, I think we'll be okay. Okay?
Is there a particular feature new to this facility or features that you're most excited about and just taking advantage of?
Well, I think that the seating all the way around is something that I felt like if we could have had that in the last facility, it would have been absolutely perfect. But I enjoy that in here. I think that I'm waiting to see how people and how the Aggies like this, but I think people will enjoy it.
You mentioned there were some other things in the other facilities maybe
Different.
that's kind of unusual.
Yeah.
What would that be?
You know, we ran the 60 and the hurdles on the outside of the oval. So when you run the 60 and the hurdles on the outside of the oval, that allowed us to run our field events different inside the oval. So you could run 2 pole vaults at the same time, and you could run both high jumps without having to wait on the 60 and the hurdles. So we got to time it out much different. We've got to do some things. I hope we can be as efficient as we were in the other building. It's going to be a challenge. And we talk about this building, and this building is where we run the track meet. But I think it's important for us to remember with the other one, we had another facility right next to us, and that was the indoor football building. And the indoor football building allowed for warm-up indoors. And that made it probably with that, and because of that, made it the best facility in the country. No question about it. This one, we have some sprint lanes that go across the far end. We have 6 sprint lanes of 60 meters that we can warm up some people. The other building, in the football building, you were able to do an oval in there with your distance and middle distance people. You were able to at least jog and get warmed up. At this facility, we built where the old Anderson track used to sit. We have built a new practice track out there, and it's about 250 meters. It's the shape of a candy cane. Starts right behind the building and then a long straightaway going down the other side. Good warm-up if the weather's nice. If we have great weather, we're in business. You guys told me it's going to be cold this Saturday. It's a little bit of a worry, so we'll just kind of wait and see what happens.
What kind of a challenge does that put on you in terms of like crafting both the collegiate schedule and high school schedule?
Yeah,
not having that warm-up area.
Yeah, that makes it extremely difficult, just because we don't know what the weather's going to be. That's the whole thing. If you knew that it was going to be nice outside, perfect. We're in great shape. If we get cold, we have issues. So, as the facility stands right now, we have a great warm-up for hurdlers and sprinters, up to quarter milers. Lots of times in the other building, our 815 and distance people were looking to go outside anyway, no matter what the weather was, to warm up. So, we'll see how it goes.
Does it just put limits on the number of teams that you can have?
Right now I have, Yeah, this year I'm going to run small meets. I'm going to run meets of 6 schools so that I can learn about the facility and learn what we can and can't do. I certainly don't want teams flying in here with, you know, bringing in 60, 80 people and it being so cold outside that we really can't do the things that we need to do to run a track meet. So it's, I think we're going to be fine. I really do. I think we're going to be fine. The one thing a little bit different about this one, and that's what I got to kind of see what's going on here. If you look, there's 2 lanes, 2.5 lanes that go all the way around the outside of this oval. Depending on how we run the meet, those could be used at a certain time of the day as warm-up lanes. And then we got to clear them out after there's been some warm-up done on them and run the track meet. So we'll kind of see how that goes. Yeah, it's going to be some challenges.
Have you had athletes that have already run in here?
Yeah.
So what are their reviews and comments?
I think that they were more in awe than they were understanding what was going on with. I have not come in here and timed a 200 meters or 150 or 300 meters. We don't do that. We never do that in training anyway, but I certainly haven't done it. We've only been on this track 2 days, maybe 3 days, 2 or 3 days that we've been on the track. I don't have keys to the building even yet. That's where we are. So I'm knocking on the door just like y'all were a minute ago.
Your track, the other one, I think, had the ability to collapse, had some hydraulics, and I don't
Right.
think that, I think that was you said a great idea, it just wasn't real practical. What's this like? I mean,
Yeah, for a multi-use building, which the other one was built as a multi-use building, it ended up not being a multi-use building. That's why Bill Byrne said, let's put a hydraulic track in there so we can make the floor flat. We can pull a turf field over the top of it at certain times of the year, and we could use it they could use it for offensive and defensive side buildings. That was part of the talk. But once we got started running meets, they understood that we're probably not going to be able to do this. So the hydraulic track we would put down every once in a while because the kinesiology department wanted to use it for some coursework in the morning. That was the only time it came down. It came up a couple times and didn't come up right. Actually tore the surface. When one hydraulic didn't work, it causes a big issue. So, and the other thing, that hydraulic was run from a computer in Italy. You know, so they knew exactly what was going on all the time, but they were the ones that are operating the facility. So
you're happy with the permanent structure?
Yeah, I think the permanent structure is good. It's like the name of this first meet is the McFerrin 12 degree. And I think everybody knows the commitment that the McFerrin family has made to this institution, not just athletics, to this entire institution. The 12 degree is the bank, the angle of the bank at this highest point is 12 degrees, okay? The world governing body for our sport only allows a track to be 12 degrees. It cannot go higher than 12 degrees. If it's higher than 12 degrees, it's not legal. Okay, so, sorry. Yours is probably going to ring in here in a second. So like Arkansas's track, a lot of things perception are a big part of sport, as everybody knows. And when young people walk into a building and one track looks different than another, they think performances are going to be different in one building or another. The fact is, this track is 12 degrees, Arkansas is 12 degrees, Albuquerque is 12 degrees. All of the major tracks in the United States are 12 degrees, with the exception of one. It's a little bit too high, and I'm not going to say who that is.
You kind of touched on it, but I know you had the team come in here, I guess, this past weekend. Just what was their, I guess, initial reaction?
Yeah, they're pretty wide-eyed. You know, I mean, we calmed down as the workout went, but yeah, they were excited about being in a new facility. This facility has the ability to do some things with the lights that the other building didn't have. You know, sound. I guess we're going to wait and see what it's like when people are in here. But the last facility, sound, I mean, they tried everything, but the lobby could have been on fire and no one on the inside would have known that on the infield. So the sound system was very difficult to work with in the other building. I hope is much better here.
Are you excited to be back in the track business at the home schedules?
Yeah, I mean,
This affected both the outdoor and your.
yeah, because right outside those doors right there is our throwing field, and so when they built this building, they had to tear up the throwing field, and so we couldn't throw the hammer, we couldn't throw the discus or the javelin, and so you couldn't have a home track meet. We can now. Now we have the best throwing field in the United States. There's nobody as nice a field as that out there. And we put a small warm-up track on the outside of it, so it's pretty good. We have an outdoor meet out there. We can't have it on the practice track, of course, but when you're down at E.B. Cushing and you have that warm-up track up above, that's pretty nice.
What's this facility do for your recruiting path?
Yeah, I think, as you know, I think facilities are extremely important. I don't know anymore. You know, you guys know that. You know what's determining where a guy goes to play football. I mean, I don't know anymore. It's hard to say. I think what anybody coming to Texas A&M knows is there's a commitment to our sport here at this institution. If you look at the facilities that we have, there's a commitment to being absolutely the best we can be. And we've won 9 times, and so that helps. And facilities, of course, help. So those two things together, and the fact that we're a great academic institution, all of those things are pretty conducive to pretty good recruiting. There's one factor that affects the recruiting now, and it's different at each institution, especially in our sport, but certainly different than it's ever been.
Were you able to offer much input or insight on what you were looking for in this venue?
Yeah, I mean, not as much as I was on the other building. There have been some things that I would have pushed pretty hard for had I known about a couple issues in here, but they had some people, as you can see, it's a pretty nice building. Yeah.
What excites you, just aside from the facility, just with the team, you know, the first week coming up, just
Yeah.
What are you kind of eager to see what you guys can do out there?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the other teams coming in, I want to know what they think when they leave here too. What the visiting coaches, how they like the facility, how we're conducive to coaching around the facility is important. Do we allow coaches to go a lot of places within the competition area? And this facility will allow that. So I think that they're going to like that, different than a lot of places. Even our last facility was a little bit more difficult for coaches than this one will be. No, go ahead.
With the competition this weekend, what are you focused on learning about your team specifically?
Yeah, I want to know who will line up and compete, who and where we are. You know, it's my sport is like any sport, I guess. You know, somebody's different on game day than they are in practice. Practice is practice. Same thing here. Practice is practice. Game day, meet day, brings the best out of people, and So I want to see that. That's the fun. That's what this is fun. That's what makes it fun for me.
Traditionally, you normally have an indoor meet in December,
Yeah.
and then you have, you start the season.
Actually, yeah, that's right.
So the fact that this is going to be, I mean, have you had, pardon me for having not looked at your schedule ahead of time, but have you guys already run an indoor meet yet?
No, no.
Okay, so
This
will
is
be the first of the year.
this is the first ever run in here. Yep. Yep.
There's got to be some things about that that's a little unsettling for.
Oh, no
veteran
question.
coach.
No question. This is my 51st year of coaching, and I feel like it's my first in a lot of ways, just because it's a re-education, it's a redo, it's a restart, and for indoor specifically, but. We're ready to go for, yeah, we'll see. We will see.
Are you this facility 100%? Are you going to add anything like this year or next year?
No, the only thing that's not 100% in here right now are the graphics. They're still working with graphics. We're going to have some graphics up, but not everything. This building, the other thing too, down underneath the stands over there, we had an area that they weren't going to use, so we kind of carved out an area underneath down there, and now it's our officials' room where our officials meet prior to a meet, and they can actually eat in that room, so we can feed them in there, and it takes about 100 officials to run a track meet, so we try to take care of those people, and now we have a place that we can do it. We'll be able to put the officials, 5-year, 10-year, 15, 20-year boards up. Who's been doing things for all these years? We got one guy's going to be on the 45-year board this year, so that'll be a fun room for our officials as well.
What is the official name of this facility?
Murray Fasken.
If I remember right, I think y'all hosted high school meets indoors as well, and I can't remember.
Yeah.
Having them come
Right.
in. Has this building, and I guess the setup, do you have to adjust in terms of how many teams you can have come in, or anything?
Well, that's the whole thing we're trying to find out. Yeah, that's exactly right. We had probably one of the top 2 or 3 numbers of high school competitors at one site of anywhere in the country. I mean, when you have 2,000 people getting on the track and running, that's a lot of people, and handling just that numbers of competitors is difficult, and it'll be different than this meet, a lot different than this meet.
Are we going to be allowed to kind of wander around?
No, you can't even, this is it, you can't go past there. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, you can walk where you need to walk. One thing I know the press box people are happy about, I know you guys that work in a press box, we actually have a bathroom up there in the press box, which we never had in the other facility, so that makes a lot of people happy that happens. When in our last facility, when all of a sudden there was no sound, you couldn't hear anything, it's because that man had to go to the restroom, and he had to leave the box and go somewhere to go to the restroom. Now, that's a good thing. I think that the press box, I think you guys will like. It's a good working box, as well as I think it's going to be good for the press.
All good? Perfect. Thanks for your time.
All right.
Appreciate it.
No, thank you guys. Appreciate you coming.